This guy, Nerdrotic, has a video that says, Doctor Who's Jodie Whittaker and Chibnall out after Series 13. That doesn't really shock me. If that is the case, they've been on after the next series. They'll have been on for 3 series. That's pretty standard for Doctor Who. Stephen Moffat is the exception, but, like, Russell T. Davies, I think, did, like, 3-4 series, and then he was out. And the 4th series was, like, specials. So, like, 3 series, that's not unreasonable. Matt Smith did 3 series, Capaldi did 3 series, Tennant did 3 series, and then specials. Eccleston only did 1 series. So, like, 3 is about the average for a Doctor. It's not that crazy. But again, I don't know if this is sourced by anything or if he's just making it up because he doesn't like Whittaker.
BBC got me. They copyright claimed an entire video, which is...
Yeah, welcome to the awfulness that is YouTube's DMCA system. I mean, I don't know what to tell you on that one. Now, actually, this is cool. YouTube finally has a thing where, like, if I upload a video on YouTube and I have, like, a clip where there's a little bit of music or something and it would normally block the video or keep me from monetizing it, I can actually now mute that part of the video. They even have a thing that's in beta where it'll remove the music, but it'll keep, like, everything else. Like, if I'm talking and there's music going, but the music is copyrighted, it'll take the music out, but my voice will remain. It's very cool. So if you ever watch one of my, like, archived streams on YouTube and there's a part where there's just, like, no audio for a little bit, it's probably because there's copyrighted something. But yeah, if you play clips from, like, a TV show or something, especially with no commentary over it, you're very likely going to get, like, copyrighted by the company. That's not right. I don't think that's cool, no matter who you are. I think fair use is a thing, and people are allowed to use clips from your thing, especially if they're commentating on it or reviewing it, and I think it's messed up for BBC to try and, like, take down people's videos for using brief clips. I just want to point that out.
Is very unusual. Usually, they provide a timestamp for the infringing clip. And yes, I did use clips. The same clips I have used in all of my Doctor Who videos with no problem. YouTube recommends that you upload the video a few hours in advance and unlist it. I did that. Everything was fine until I made the video public. This leads me to believe that the BBC didn't like what I had to say, and that's fine. They can...
maybe, not necessarily, though. A lot of times, like, there's automatic removals, but then there's also ones that are done, like, by people. Like, the BBC will, like, literally hire people to sit on a computer and kind of go on YouTube all day and Twitter and all sorts of, or Twitch and all sorts of places and try and find, like, videos that might be infringing on their copyright, even though, of course, a lot of the things that they tag don't. It might just use a clip or something, and they really should take fair use into account. Nonetheless, sometimes a person will find the video and flag it. They may have missed your earlier videos, but that doesn't mean that they're only doing the one they don't like. It could be, but I just want to point out that, like, human beings are fallible, and if they're looking for just any clip usage and they're going to flag it, they might have just missed the ones that you did earlier.
Not like it all day long, but I have a right to say it. So I'm going to re-upload the video, and that is usually hell on the algorithm. So if you could please like and share the videos as much as possible, and if you haven't, please
I don't think I will.
Consider subscribing to the channel. Now, on to the Doctor Who rumors.
I think it's because
the Doctor Whomers.
I've never, like, I haven't handed on, so I'm still in that strange kind of flirting space where I own it. And, like, I mean, I'm not kicked out of the club yet.
Nerdrotic.com.
We live in strange times where corporations will continue producing television shows or films that are clearly a massive failure with their audiences.
I don't know about that. Again, I think the first series of Chibnall's pretty bad, but the second series had some pretty good episodes in it. It's just like the finale that does the canon stuff, the, like, Timeless Child stuff that I don't like very much. But other than that, the last series of Chibnall stuff had some good episodes in it. And Doctor Who is always very hit or miss. Not to mention, if we're talking about ratings on, like, live TV for the BBC, a lot of people use iPlayer now to watch stuff. I don't know if that gets tied into the ratings for the shows and stuff, but usually when you're looking at ratings for TV shows, they're talking about the first broadcast, and that's always going to be down over time, considering so many people watch things online now.
Obviously, the viewers, fans, or paying customers, whatever you want to call them, do not factor into the decision making over at the BBC, considering the cratering ratings for Doctor Who.
I've had an upgrade.
Recently, the entertainment industry on both sides of the pond have decided to rebrand into the influence industry, and unfortunately for them and fortunately for us, they suck at it, but it has infected some of our favorite franchises, and it's obviously no different with Doctor Who.
A forgotten writer, thanks for following.
The best,
Welcome to the stream.
worst example. Well, I've got some of those rumors to talk about.
There's a rumor, by the way, and this is just a rumor, so don't, like, I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but it seems like it's possible that the BBC might be teaming up with HBO and making Doctor Who an HBO Max exclusive, and they'll also air it on BBC. Kind of similar how HBO has a deal with PBS with Sesame Street, where PBS still owns Sesame Street, but it gets aired on HBO first. There's a rumor that they're going to be working with HBO and turning Doctor Who into a co-production between HBO and the BBC. I'm very concerned about that because I think I like the show better as a British-only production, but working with HBO would make the budget for the show probably a lot higher, and it might also improve the writing if we're moving beyond, like, Chibnall and the entire idea of, like, an individual showrunner, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Looks like Chris Chibnall and the first female Doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, might...
Oh, that's really stupid. Dude, look, there are a lot of problems with Chibnall Doctor Who. I don't think Jodie Whittaker's one of them. The writing isn't always up to par, but I think she's a fine doctor.
Be on their way out. And it looks like Doctor Who Season 13 might be delayed. Let's start with that. Doctor Who
A lot of shows are delayed because of COVID.
Be made to the current standard under social distancing, says BBC Wales boss, considering what may be behind one of the rumors I'm about to...
How is the 13th Doctor in any way like a Karen? Here's the problem, I think, with these people. The Doctor is always authoritative. The Doctor will... Like, the entire premise of the show is the Doctor will drop into a situation with the TARDIS and will find a problem, and often the end of the show involves a lot of moralizing. The Doctor speaking to someone and saying, like, you shouldn't be doing this, here's the right thing to do, I'm gonna fix this problem. Now, they don't mind this when it's like Matt Smith or David Tennant or Peter Capaldi doing this as the Doctor, because they're men, and in their heads, men should be authoritative. An authoritative man is confident, but they see Jodie Whittaker doing the exact same thing, and she's a woman, and they see a woman being confident and authoritative, and they don't think, oh, that's someone with confidence in their opinion. They go, oh, what a bitch. Like, that's how they think. It's like they don't understand that their way that they're viewing this is entirely colored by their weird misconceptions about gender and the stereotypes that they put on people because of it. It's really, really weird.
Report, I can rework this headline too. Doctor Who can't be made to the current social justice warrior standards, says BBC
Is that supposed to be clever?
Wales boss. Or Doctor...
There's nothing, and again, I don't understand these people who claim to like things like Doctor Who and Star Trek, and they're like, this show is SJW now. Have you watched literally any of it? Doctor Who has always been very inclusive and very understanding, and the themes are always about, like, you need to understand people who are different than you and love them for their differences and not be afraid of them because of it. That's a consistent theme in Doctor Who. And not only that, but if we're going to talk about, like, oh, the woke agenda, Doctor Who has had, like, openly gay and bisexual characters since, like, Captain Jack Harkness, which is, like, the first series of New Who from 2005. This is not new. Doctor Who has always been a very progressive show. The Doctor is a moral character that cares about people and understands about them. Acting like it's new to Doctor Who that the Doctor cares about, like, justice completely misses the point of the entire show.
Who can't be made to the current standard due to viewer distancing, says BBC Wales boss.
Weren't there lesbian dragon ladies? Are you talking about Vostra? Madame Vostra and Jenny, her wife? Yes.
BBC Wales director Rodri Talfin-Davies has cast doubt on whether the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, will be back filming new episodes anytime soon. Oh, threaten me with a good time. Will Doctor Who Series 13...
Man with toys all over his wall doesn't like women. More news at 11.
be delayed by the lockdown? The answer is absolutely yes, and that is before I get to the rumors. It's been the question on many a Whovian's lips. That's not entirely untrue, but the vast majority is just hoping it stays delayed indefinitely. Ever since the beer bug pandemic.
Can you imagine? I don't get this idea. Even if you don't like Jodie Whittaker's era of Doctor Who, probably because of Chibnall's writing. Again, I think she does fine in the performance area. I think it's mostly the writing. Like season 1 of Whittaker, I didn't like very much. In fairness, I didn't like the first season of Capaldi very much either, and now he's like one of my favorite doctors. But like when I didn't like the first season of Jodie in the show, I didn't think, man, I hope this show gets canceled. I thought, okay, I didn't like that very much, but I really hope by the next season they can come back and work out the kinks. Like, if you like a show, why do you think, like, oh, I hope it gets canceled? Like, what? Do you even like the show, then? Why don't you want it to just get fixed and get better? Very strange. It's almost like he wants to punish the people behind it. Like, they don't care about the show. They care about being able to say, see, Doctor Who lasted like 20 years, the new Who, and then Jodie Whittaker got into it and it got canceled. See? Get woke, go broke, bro. It's like they care more about that than the actual show. It's very strange.
Forced various TV productions to shut down, and while socially distanced TV is now beginning to film again, and in Doctor Who's case, fewer distancing TV, a BBC executive has cast doubt on whether Doctor Who could return under those circumstances. And I love to read between the lines, and maybe this is just talking about the beer bug, but this is starting to sound like an excuse to me. It'll be down to...
Dude, no. Doctor Who's a really expensive show for the BBC to make. It's probably their most expensive show. And it's really complicated to film. So they're saying that we can't do it safely during COVID. A lot of things have ceased filming during COVID. A lot of the Marvel shows for Disney Plus, for instance, Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision, a lot of those had to stop filming because of what's going on with the, pandemic that's happening.
Viewer distancing. Social distancing. Rodri Talfin-Davies, director of the BBC Wales, said during an online Q&A when asked about the future of Doctor Who. The future of Doctor Who. That's why you clicked on this video, and that's what we're going to discuss right now. But for the internet police out there and the content cops, well, now that I think about it, defund the internet police. As with all rumors, please take this with a grain of salt. But sometimes rumors can become stories. But I can't verify any of this. I don't work at the BBC, but this does come from the same source who told me that they would be swapping the Doctor's original gender, that the Doctor would originally be a female, that they would be retconning the Doctor's past, and that's what we saw play out.
A lot of people knew about that, though. This comes down to these people will be like, but this is the person that told me this thing, and it turns out that thing was something that had leaked to the internet as a whole. The idea that, spoilers for Doctor Who, Series 12 or whatever, the most recent series, I'll give you guys a second. This is going to be Doctor Who spoilers. He kind of already spoiled it, but if I'm going to get more specific. So I'll give you a second to mute this or whatever. Doon, 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 no, 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 no. Doon, 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 boom, boom. Okay, I'm gonna do the spoilers now. So in Doctor Who Series 12, oh god, it was retconned Oh, God. I really don't like the Timeless Child stuff. It was retconned that William Hartnell's first Doctor was not, in fact, the first Doctor. Not even the second or third Doctor. There had been, like, infinite Doctors prior. The Doctor is not, like, just some Time Lord. The Doctor is the Timeless Child, as they call it. It was a child who fell through a portal from somewhere that they don't know, landed on Gallifrey, and whenever the Doctor died, they would regenerate. This is before the Time Lords have regeneration. It turns out the Doctor is the source of why Time Lords can regenerate. Right? So, the Doctor, every few regenerations or whatever, would have their mind wiped, which is why the first Doctor thought they were the first Doctor. So we see earlier versions of the Doctor, including what some people have taken to call the Ruthless Doctor, because her name was Ruth when she chameleon-arced herself. And I liked her, actually. I thought she was really good. But, like, this idea of, like, there's infinite Doctors back in time, I think is stupid. I don't like that. But, like, I completely forgot why I even got on this tangent. Let me see. Oh, so basically, yes, they did say the first Doctor was a little girl. I don't think that matters that much if you're just saying, like, I think the bigger issue is just that there are Doctors prior to Hartnell, right? I think that's a stupid retcon. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I don't really care. It doesn't affect the day-to-day of the show. It doesn't affect, you know, that much. I just think it's a really weird, unnecessary retcon.
Out in The Timeless Children with a lazy voiceover montage where the actors who are destroying 50 plus years of canon didn't speak a line of dialogue. And my source revealed that information to me months before the events of The Timeless Children.
Oh, I was also going to say, yes, that source probably revealed that to you, but I also knew that months before that. On the Doctor Who subreddit, R. Gallifrey, that had leaked months before The Timeless Child happened. So these people will be like, my source told me this spoiler, and it's like, well, yeah, everyone knew that spoiler. You didn't need to be a BBC insider because that had already leaked to the internet by that time. So you can't use that as like my source is right because they knew this thing. Yeah, so did I. That doesn't mean I'm a BBC insider. It just means that I'm able to read internet forums.
And it didn't soften the blow. The Doctor is no longer Gallifreyan. William Hartnell is no longer the first Doctor. God, it killed me to say that. And that's why, while this is good news, it comes way too late. The damage has already been done.
I know something you don't know.
According to my source, this will indeed be Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker's final season on Doctor Who. Yes, we have heard this before. Starburst magazine reported back in 2018 that Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall might be leaving after season 12. That obviously didn't happen, although we haven't seen Series 13 yet. Now, we saw some evidence earlier in the year that they were thinking about splitting the season, and it looks like, according to my source, due to the impending delay, that might happen.
God, I hate the split seasons of Doctor Who.
It might be split into 2 separate seasons while filming it all at once. We will see when and if that actually happens. And as far as the next Doctor is concerned, according to my source, it is still up in the air whether it's going to be a male or a female. Obviously,
I just cast whoever's the best for the role. Who cares about the gender? Bishop Paul IV, thank you for the 100 bits.
No decision has been made, and one might not be made for years.
At Colston with 5 bits, not defending it. Maybe they made the Doctor the Timeless Child because Time Lords could only regenerate 12 times and Jodie would have been the last Doctor. No, they already dealt with that during... At the end of Matt Smith was the last Doctor in that line of regenerations, and the Time Lords granted the Doctor a whole new set of regenerations. That happened already. They already dealt with that issue.
And I doubt the show,
although that's retconned even now too with the Timeless Child stuff.
Could even survive that. Are the events of the Timeless Children going to remain canon, or are they going to retcon it? Well, they'll add on to it, but they're not going to retcon it, not anytime soon. So don't get your hopes up. Maybe if another...
In fairness, the Timeless Child information came from the Master, so it's entirely possible that they'll retcon it. It'll be cheap, but whatever. It doesn't bother me that much. I don't really care, but it was kind of a strange decision, and I don't know why the BBC signed off on it.
regime comes in at the BBC, and maybe if there's a new showrunner, but not in the near future.
I know, and I understand that the Brain of Morbius has a scene where, like, they're going back and it shows doctors prior to Hartnell. I get that. But, like, everyone already decided to ignore that. No one considered that to be a canon thing that mattered until the Timeless Children brought it back up again. No one cared. No one needed an explanation for that.
Listen, it doesn't take a genius to figure this stuff out. All you have to do is look at life through the very narrow lens of identity politics, and you too could be a decision maker at the BBC. For example, doesn't the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen...
Why do you think she's a Karen? Again, the only reason I can think of that you think she's a Karen is because she does the exact same thing the Doctor always does, which is to give the big moralizing speech at the end, but because she's a woman, you don't respect her authority as the Doctor the same as you do when it's Matt Smith or David Tennant or Peter Capaldi. That's the only reason you could possibly have.
Look like a white savior to you? That's problematic. But we still have one more season that could be split into two, with the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, and her lone...
He's really trying to make that stick, isn't he? Nah.
...companion, Yaz. And the question has to be asked, if nobody watches a television show, did it really happen? But at least they got rid of all those nasty men. Briefly, let's go check out the HBO Max interview with David Tennant, Matt Smith, and the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call...
Yeah, we get it. You call her Dr. Karen. Jesus Christ.
Dr. Karen.
He's really trying to make that a meme. If you try and force a meme, it's not gonna work. Memes are memes. You don't force that stuff.
Now stay with me on this one, because this could provide some context. While saying I'm sure Jodie Whittaker, Matt Smith, and David Tennant are all buddy-buddy, but notice what Matt Smith brings up unsolicited.
The thing I miss, the one thing, I think we've talked about it, David, before, like the one thing I miss is the Christmas special.
Yes!
On Christmas. You know, that's just fantastic, and it's always such a great story, but it's, yeah. It's a great thing to pass on, isn't it? It's a great sort of gift to go, good luck.
Why do you think she's mad about that? That wasn't Jodie Whittaker's decision to make it a New Year's special. That's on Chibnall. Who cares?
Yeah.
Be good, but not too good.
Do well-ish.
Wow, was that a dig at the BBC?
If I want to start Doctor Who, where should I start? Would I need to go all the way back? Start with 2005, Rose, it's called. It's the first episode of New Who. Because there's Classic Who and there's New Who. Classic Who started in, like, 1962. This is the longest-running sci-fi series of all time, and you can go back and watch that stuff later if you want, but it's a little dry nowadays. So it's a good place to start in the 2005 series Rose. It's Series 1. You can find it on, like, HBO Max. It might be on other streaming services in different parts of the world. I don't know. But you can find it somewhere. Start there, and if it's not working for you, then maybe jump ahead to the 5th series where Matt Smith becomes the Doctor, and that's another jumping-on point that is a little bit maybe more accessible to a modern audience, considering it's a little bit later. But yeah, either Series 1 or Series 5. I'd recommend Series 1 with Christopher Eccleston, though, first.
I think so, but you decide in the comments. You know, it hasn't been determined which day Revolution of the Daleks is going to air. It sounds like it's going to be in 2021 on New Year's Day.
Called the Revolution of Dalek.
Yeah.
It was the Dalek.
No,
I thought it was Revolution of the Daleks. Now it's Revolution of the Dalek? Oh yeah, you know what? I don't care. Now they were asking...
I mean, you brought it up, and you're trying to be snarky, so you clearly care.
the question, if you could bring anybody back from the show, who would you bring back? And David Tennant answered this question perfectly.
I'd bring back William Hartnell, who played the first Doctor in 1963, and I'd bring him back and go, look at this! Look, still going!
They did that. They did that in the Peter Capaldi Christmas special, which was very good.
Still going. We're all still here. Is he here?
I can't say the video was all bad because it featured Matt Smith and David Tennant, and we all miss them both. And as far as HBO Max being a big savior for this show, please keep in mind that Netflix had Doctor Who during its peak here in the States and let it go. Amazon Prime had it and let it go. And to repeat the good news, the rumor is that this is the last season for the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen. And
yeah, we get it. Stop trying to force the meme, guy.
Chris Chibnall. Again, this season could be split into two, either a 13A, 13B situation, or season 13 and season 14. Again, that remains to be seen. The thing I want to caution everyone on is getting your hopes up. I want you to look around you, look at those events.
It probably will be your last season. The vast majority of Doctors leave after 3 or 4 seasons. That sounds about right.
Of the last 3 to 4 weeks. My source can confirm that not everyone is happy with the direction of Doctor Who, and despite what the BBC says publicly, they are not happy with the ratings. But they are very happy with the show editorially. I have no doubt that they are very happy with the agenda that they have infected this show.
The show doesn't have an agenda. If they're talking about editorially, they're talking about, like, the production quality of the show, which is the highest it's ever been. Like, as much as you might not like the writing, and I get that, I don't think Chibnall's a very good Doctor Who writer at all, but, like, the episodes he doesn't write, there was some really good ones, and the production quality is amazing. Like, it looks like a, you know, like any modern TV show now with a huge budget. It looks really good. Like, I even like the interior of the TARDIS that they have now. I didn't like it. It took a while for me to, like, warm up to it, but it's fine.
Show with, and they are very concerned about all of you problematic ist and phobe viewers who are not as enlightened.
Dude, stop watching Doctor Who. Please get out of the fandom. You're clearly an asshole. Like, I don't understand what people like this even got out of the show. If he even watches it. He might not. It doesn't seem like he does. I feel like if you asked him questions about it, he'd be like, I don't know. So why are you even acting like you're some big fan who's offended by it if you don't know anything about the show? Very odd.
As Chris Chibnall and the writers at the BBC.
I mean, I'm not kicked out of the club yet.
The key word there is yet, but it looks like Jodie could be on her way out. Time's up. And as far as Chris...
Again, and she would have had the same number of seasons as Matt Smith. That's not abnormal.
Chibnall is concerned, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. And let's
I do want Chibnall to leave, but that's just because I don't think he's a very good showrunner.
be real about this. This show is bleeding viewers, bleeding ratings on both sides of the pond. I don't know how it's doing in the rest of the world, but I can't imagine it's doing much better. How many times have you seen a show 12 seasons in bounce back? Never? Currently, Doctor Who already has one upcoming episode filmed, unfortunately. The late 2020, early 2021 festive special. Doesn't look like there's going to be a Christmas special. Revolution of the Daleks, Jodie, with Series 13 shooting previously rumored to be kicking off around September 2020. If Davies is correct and socially distanced filming rules still apply by that time, it could be that Who fans have to wait even longer for new episodes than previously thought. Oh no! So let's hope they just keep kicking that can down the road. That's all I've got for now. Please remember, these are rumors. They need to be taken with a grain of salt. And I want everyone to have a great day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you liked what you heard. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long, and I will see you in the next video.
Nerdrotic.com.
Wow, what a weirdo. It doesn't even seem like he's a fan of the show. I don't know.